Welcome to the first class on the series of English is Fun. I am Keshrina, your English buddy. So in today's topic, we would be learning about the types of nouns, mainly countable and uncountable nouns. So by the end of the session, you should be able to identify what is a noun and differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns. Alright, let's begin. So let us start off with what is a noun. So a noun is basically a word that is used to identify, like a person. Alia is a noun. Mr. Samuel is a noun. Or a place, like school. School is a noun. Or animals, like cats and dogs. Or things, like towel, laptop. Feelings are nouns as well, like happiness, sadness. Okay, so bear in mind that nouns is not an action word. Action word is a verb. It's not a description. Descriptions are adjectives. And it is not a preposition, like on and off. Okay, so let's take a look at a few nouns in a sentence, alright? Okay, so Malaysia is my country. Can you identify what the nouns are? Yes, Malaysia and country. Let's take a look at another example. My friend is being very funny. Could you identify which one was the noun? Yes, friend is the noun. Alright. So let us move on to the main focus of our class, which is to identify between countable and uncountable nouns. Let's begin. So countable nouns are also known as unit nouns. They are used to identify things that are able to be quantified. For example, I have a friend. I have 2 friends. I have 3 friends. Or another example would be like I bought a book yesterday. Yesterday I bought 2 books. And other examples of countable nouns would be like army, armies, class, classes. So far so good. So that was pretty simple, right? Okay, so let's move on to something that's a little bit more complex, but not if you understand the meaning of the word. So uncountable nouns are also known as mass nouns. Okay, let's take a look back at how to differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns. So previously, for countable nouns, they can be used for things that can be expressed in both singular and plural form, either by adding s or es to the back of the word. But for uncountable nouns, they are the words that are only present in singular form. Okay, let's take a look at the word burden, for example. We don't say I have a lot of burdens on my shoulder, because the word burden already refers to having a lot of work or a lot of pressure. So we say I have a lot of burden. Okay, another example would be milk. So we say the milk she bought yesterday was still cold. Not the milk that she bought yesterday was still cold. Because milk already refers to something that is in a quantity. We can't count the milk like one by one physically. So that's why milk is an uncountable noun. So other examples of uncountable nouns would be like the word rise, that, information, kindness, compassion. Alright, so now dear students, you may ask me, what about the word rice? Rice, we can count the grains of rice. But when we are referring to rice, we refer to rice as in many grains of rice. So as a whole, we consider rice as uncountable. So in short, uncountable nouns are used to identify a word that cannot be quantified, that are not capable of being quantified. So a smart tip here on how to differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns is that to know which is countable and uncountable, you must first understand the meaning of the word, whether it refers to something that you can count them physically. For example, we have friends earlier, and then we have books, or something that cannot be counted and refers to a lot in general, like milk, butter, things like that. Okay, so let us summarize what we have learned, alright? So first of all, we learned about what is a noun. So a noun can be used to describe to identify a place or a person or things or feelings. Whereas moving on after that, we learn how to differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns. So for countable, it can be used for things that you can count them, and uncountable nouns refers to things that you cannot physically count them. And when you talk about uncountable nouns, it refers to the word as in general. Okay, so that is all for today's session. I really hope you guys learned a thing or two and have just a brief idea on what are nouns, countable and uncountable nouns. Thank you, take care, stay safe, and till we meet again.